Hey everyone, welcome to the webinar today. I am so excited for us to get started and learn all about how you can navigate the AI landscape. Before we get into it, I want to hear from you all. Where are you from? I am in Queens, New York right now. We have someone from Utica, a little upstate. We have people from Kentucky, Maine, Georgia, Wichita, Brooklyn, Memphis, all over. I am so excited to have you all here today. And I want to get us started with our webinar. I want to let everyone know that today's webinar is going to be recorded. So you will get the recording in your inbox tomorrow. Don't worry about it. And you will also be getting all of the slides. So you'll get a PDF of all the slides so you can review all of this content later on. We are also saving about 10 to 15 minutes of the session for Q&A. So for all of those amazing questions that you have, there is a Q&A pane that you can submit those on. You can upvote even the questions that you want answered the most, and we'll use that to really guide our Q&A later today. So I am just so excited. Without too much further ado, I'm going to be introducing Blake Arata, who is the Director of Digital here at Community Boost. And he's he's been at Community Boost for 8 years now. He is a pivotal force in revolutionizing Community Boost digital marketing landscape and has an impressive track record of working with over 1,000 nonprofits. And Blake has not only contributed to the development of numerous innovative channels, but also played a key role in tailoring these solutions to meet the needs of nonprofit partners. His passion for marketing is unmatched only by his love for the nonprofit sector, where he leverages his expertise to empower organizations of all sizes and sectors. So, Blake, everyone give a warm welcome to Blake. I'm going to get him up on the stage in just a moment. Hey, Blake, how's it going?
Going well. How are you, Candice?
Doing well. Well, I am just so excited for the content today. I'm going to let you take it away, and I will be engaging in the chat. So I'll see you guys there.
Sounds great. Perfect. Candice, were you going to hit the unthinkable piece here?
Sure, I can pop back in. So, a little bit about Community Boost. As you guys know, we're a digital marketing agency for nonprofits. And one of our biggest events that we put on 2 times a year is the Nonprofit Marketing Summit. So, for the Nonprofit Marketing Summit, we have our next event coming up on March 5th through 7th, 2024. And we want you to journey to the unthinkable with us so that you can drive unthinkable growth at your nonprofit this year. This is one of our first times announcing the unthinkable, and we hope that you would get your free ticket right now. You can actually just click the button and register for that. And there's way more great learnings to come. So we hope to see you there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Candice, for the intro. It's really nice to meet you all. I see some familiar names in the chat. I'm excited you could all be here. I wish my hair looked as great as my AI version of my hair here. But again, I'm so excited to be part of this conversation today. I have been at Community Boost for about 8 years or so, really started here working on a lot of the digital channels that we now use to support our nonprofit partners, whether that be Meta advertising, Google Analytics, and have started to dive in more into generative AI and how we can use that to support nonprofits. And so just really appreciate your time. I'm excited to jump into some of the conversations we'll have today. So, what is the main topic of conversation today? What are we going to be discussing? Um, we're going to be diving into a really what I think is exciting topic: generative AI for nonprofits. It's a rapidly evolving digital world, and AI is no longer just a buzzword. It's truly a game changer, particularly for nonprofits or for anyone. AI opens up new avenues for impact and efficiency in doing things at scale. And the core of our discussion today is going to be this: generative AI, it's important. And whether you're currently using it or not, it is changing the digital landscape. It's changing how it works. And it's also surprisingly easy to start implementing. I found, talking to different nonprofits, that there's often this notion that AI is too complex or it's irrelevant for the nonprofit sector. And I'd really like to dispel some of those myths talking to you today and really show you how accessible and beneficial AI can be. And so, to guide our exploration, I'll be covering three main ideas that will change how I hope you view AI in your work. And I encourage you to really keep an open mind as we're going through these different areas and envision the potential of AI in your unique roles in organizations. So we'll be going through, it's kind of a basic level. I want to make sure the meat and potatoes of the conversation is around top tools and top tips around generative AI, but we will cover what generative AI is, some current marketing challenges in the nonprofit space, those top tools, top tips, and then hopefully leave plenty of time for Q&A. How does that sound to everybody? Oh, I'm getting some people saying in chat that sound just kicked in. Is everyone hearing me okay? Can I get a thumbs up if you're hearing me okay? Okay, awesome. Thanks, y'all. All right. So I like to kick it off having some people post in chat. I just want to get a sense of how people are feeling. We're in the giving season. Giving Tuesday just passed. We're in the thick of year end. This is something that I've been hearing from different nonprofits, but kind of want to pulse the room. Are you feeling like you're expected to raise more and achieve more each year, but without getting the extra help or resources? I love to kind of just get some general posts in chat. A resounding yes, a lot of yes. Yeah, absolutely. I see some people saying it's their first year. That's super exciting. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that we have, I think that this presentation is going to be very much geared toward all of you. I don't love that you're expected to raise more and achieve more without getting extra help or resources, but I do think that this presentation is going to provide a lot of value for you. Because the truth is, right now it's a tough time to be marketing. And I did want to kind of address the elephant in the room about AI. I think there is this kind of resounding idea that AI is here to potentially replace the work that we do or the workers. And I want to note that AI is not just a trend, but it's more of a significant shift in how we operate. I like the analogy. It's similar to how like a mathematician or mathematicians moved from manual arithmetic to calculators, or how photographers moved from manual film development in darkrooms to digital photos with instant results. In both those examples, new tools didn't take away people's jobs, but instead they helped people do their work better and faster, and they freed up time for people to do the tougher parts of their jobs. And I think the same thing will happen with AI, and it's already happening. It's not going to take away people's jobs, but it's going to help them do their jobs better. So I have another question for everyone in chat. I just want to get a pulse of the room, or there's going to be a poll here. Candace is going to set up. I want to know if you've already utilized artificial intelligence tools to support your organization, or if you're kind of new to all of this. Okay, great. I'll give it a couple minutes to get some more answers coming in chat. But actually, pretty great to see that so far. Oh, okay. It's adjusting a little bit as more answers are coming in. I'll give it a second, a couple more minutes maybe. Right. Okay, a mixed bag. Well, so we have some people that are regularly using AI tools. I see some people saying that they're using tools like ChatGPT, Grammarly, Canva. Yeah, absolutely. Canva has some new AI photo editing capabilities, which is great. We have quite a few people that have experimented but haven't fully integrated. We have some people that are considering adopting AI, and some people that really haven't thought about it at all. Okay, that's great to know. That really helps set the context for the rest of this conversation, and I appreciate that. So let's jump into what AI is. And obviously, based on the feedback in chat, there's a diverse group of people that are either currently using generative AI or exploring it or are curious about it. I want to be really clear that the intent of my presentation today is not to sell you on AI. I think just by being here, you've shown a level of interest and curiosity on the subject, which is great. My goal for this presentation is to share knowledge and insights that might help you make informed decisions about how you use AI and how it could fit into your organization's marketing toolkit, right? I understand that some of you might be feeling a bit hesitant about AI, might be questioning if now is the right time to embark on an AI journey, and that's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The world of AI is vast and it's evolving, and it's normal to have reservations about when and how to take the first step. But as we move forward, I do invite you to keep an open mind and consider the possibilities that AI offers. It's not just a tool, but I want us to have this mindset of treating AI as a partner, a co-pilot, a team member, to enhance your marketing effectiveness and reach. And so as we go through this presentation, we'll explore together some of the current marketing challenges that you might be facing, and if those resonate with you, there might be an opportunity to solve it with AI. Perfect. So we'll jump into the first piece here. Um, this is a very simple example of how chatbots work. I'm not an engineer. I'm also not here to explain the deep intricacies of how AI works. But here's an explain like I'm five layman's terms version. Um, Basically, chatbots work by having a database or a knowledge base that's composed of interconnected nodes that process and store various forms of information like images, text, and data and sounds. And then the next step is a prompt input. We'll be talking about prompts a little bit. I'm not going to get too deep into prompt engineering, but really that's a user input used to guide AI to generate responses, right? That's how generative AI works, often in the form of questions, statements, or specific commands. And then from there, that content is generated. The AI will interpret the prompts by analyzing the language, the context, the intent, and then use their algorithms to generate relevant and coherent content. And actually, there's some examples here. I used ChatGPT's ChatGPT to develop some images for this example, and they weren't perfect the first time I used them. To be honest, I had to end up using a reference photo for some of these images, but it can work well depending on how you prompt it. And kind of the idea is you can use most of these tools for anything you can think of. So throughout the presentation, I'll be using different aspects of different chatbots to kind of help make these points. Awesome. And then I wanted to quickly cover some chatbots. There are a lot of different AI tools out there. Primarily today, we're going to be talking about ChatGPT and Bard. I think you can you can handle 80% of the solutions that you're looking to achieve through those tools. And if you're not too familiar, this is for like the 12 or 13% who haven't even thought about AI. This is a really great place to start. And I just want to explain some of these tools. So ChatGPT is OpenAI's chatbot. The current version is ChatGPT 4. There's both a paid and a free version. The ChatGPT like freemium version does have a cap number of interactions or usage limits, so the number of prompts you can ask it. Sometimes the response times can be a little bit slower, especially during peak usage, and there is a reduced access to newer features or updates. The paid version of ChatGPT also runs on ChatGPT 4. There is an increased or unlimited number of usage. You have priority access, which can often result in faster response times. You often do have access to beta or exclusive features that come out. Sometimes you can have higher quality or more detailed responses, can create images as well. And then you have Bard, which is Google's AI chatbot. It's free to use. There's no cap in number of interactions or usage limits. You can't currently create images on its own, but you can use some aspects like Imagen to create some images, and I'll show some examples later on in this presentation. And then just yesterday, there was actually an announcement that there's a new Google AI model, Gemini. It's been trained in massive multitask language understanding, which is very interesting. I know there's some very strong AI marketers that are in the chat. If they want to kind of post some updates to this or things that I don't cover, feel free to. I saw a video yesterday from Google. It was very interesting where they actually were showing Gemini. It was viewing someone putting a sticky note down on a table. And they asked Gemini what it was viewing, and it was able to say, I saw someone put down a sticky note on a piece of on a table. and then the person drew a photo or drew a picture onto the sticky note, and Gemini was actually able to identify what was happening. So very strong AI model, and it will power Bard and other products. And there's just a lot of evolution that's happening across these different chatbots. I'm curious if in the chat, if people have been using Bard or ChatGPT exclusively, if they have any thoughts between the differences. We'll talk about some of the strengths of the different chatbots, but I'm curious to hear what chat has to say. Awesome. We can continue on. Um, Yeah, I wanted to quickly cover the evolution of AI. The idea is that AI has really been around for a while. Uh, you know, back in 1966, there was the early days of AI with ELIZA. It was a natural language processing computer program created at MIT by Joseph Weizenbaum. It was one of the first chatterbots, which was then changed to chatbots. And it was an early test case for the Turing test, a test of a machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior or, um, yeah, intelligent behavior equivalent to or indistinguishable from a human. And then AI has been used for chess algorithms, has been utilized in banking to automate credit scoring processes. Um, and then in 2011, you had the emergence of voice and image recognition AI. You have Siri, Alexa, a lot of different iterations of that. So it's things that we've been using, even if if we don't think that we have. It's been part of our day to day for quite a while. And then I wanted to cover a little bit of the evolution of AI chatbots. Really, how things have started to evolve has been via the advent of the GPT, or the generative pre-trained transformer. This was actually first noted by researchers from Google in 2017, who wrote a paper about transformers, which is the model of neural networks that current chatbots use. Um, and so we've seen a lot of different iterations of the transformer model: GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, and now currently GPT-4 with OpenAI's ChatGPT. Um, Things have progressed very quickly. We've been seeing AI witness exponential growth. It's really enhanced research and development. Um, the evolution has been very, very incredible. And now we have the ability to automate intricate tasks, to decipher complex data, to produce valuable insights across different industries. And so, while that's being said, this rapid advancement also raises important concerns about ethics, privacy, and security. And I love this example that I'm going to show on the next slide here. I hope some of you were kind of blown away the way that I was. This was actually, I follow a couple different marketing forums, nonprofit forums, and this was on Reddit. There is a tool called Midjourney that you can use to create different images from natural language descriptions. And so this is an example of how quickly some of these AI have evolved, even just in a year. So the first photo at the top was from April 2022. And then the following photo is from a year later in April 2023. And these are AI generated images using the same prompts. And you can obviously see the differences in the quality of these images. It's really hard to distinguish the recent photos from reality. And that's the power of the AI tools we're dealing with. The prompt is actually very fascinating as well. I'll read it to you all. The prompt was a close up scene from a drama movie. A young man from Pakistan is wearing a hoodie with a folklore embroidery. The setting is a garden with volumetric lighting and warm color grading. The scene is shot with a Cooke S4 32mm lens. Um, I just feel that it's so incredible, the value of these tools and how they could be utilized. Awesome. Well, thanks for letting me kind of just explain some very basic levels of these of AI in general. And I do want to shift gears a bit here now, and kind of just ask this question: is the nonprofit sector ready for AI, and how can it adapt effectively? I'm thinking back to the question I asked about how many of you are expected to do more with less, and it was a resounding yes. And I think this section is really for you. Many believe that AI is a technology reserved for big corporations with substantial budgets. But in my opinion, the AI landscape is changing and it's becoming more accessible to diverse sectors, including nonprofits. It's natural to question the readiness of a technological leap like jumping into AI, but readiness is not just about resources, it's about mindset and understanding the potential of AI. And so, in a world where technology is constantly evolving, staying ahead or even on par requires you to be adaptable. And for nonprofits, this means embracing new tools that can enhance efficiency and impact. And so now I want to jump into how nonprofits can assess the readiness and adopt a different framework about AI so they can integrate it seamlessly into their organization. And for those of you that might be a little hesitant or not know where to start, you're obviously not alone. There were a lot of you that kind of had posted in that poll that you're not exactly sure where to go or how to integrate it into your organization. People across all sectors and all industries have been confused and maybe a little frustrated about generative AI and the actionable ways they can use it. And a lot of this has to do with how quickly generative AI has evolved. You have the acceleration of all these different tools. You have the consideration around access and cost. Which employees at your organization are going to use it? Are you using a paid version or a free version? How are you learning and experimenting with it? What are the ways that you can actually use it? What's the policy that you're creating at your organization to make sure that AI is being used ethically? Um, you know, it's questions like, is this the right time to adopt AI? Should we wait and see? How do we introduce this technology? Are all common and very understandable. And I want to kind of share some ways that you can think about and roll this out to your organization if you're not using it to its fullest potential. So, that being said, I urge you, at least during the length of this presentation, to try embracing an AI first mindset. I like to view AI as co pilots or additional team members rather than substitutes or replacements. And I'll be using that kind of terminology throughout the presentation. Um, AI is reinventing the way that work is done. And I believe that every role at every organization has the potential to be reinvented, right? Think of these different AI tools as your marketing team members. They're there to advise. Think of them as an ever present co pilot for every worker, boosting productivity. Think of them as a creator, a creative partner across design, research, copy generation, and personalization. They're an engineer, a technical ally, aiding in complex problem solving. They can help you optimize your systems, improve product design, enhance data analysis and interpretation. And they're an automator. Think of them as a tool for streamlining your repetitive tasks, managing workflows, enhancing efficiency, and allowing staff to focus on strategic, high value activities. And I'll be going into some very real use cases for all of these different buckets and areas. Um, this is some data that Community Boost put together from a survey from our nonprofit partners in our acceleration report. So in 2022, we specifically were looking at challenges that our nonprofit partners were facing when it came to growth at their organization. And in 2022, 46% of respondents identified limited time as their top challenge. And this year revealed a significant change in challenges with budget taking the lead. 23.2% said that limited budget was the biggest challenge to nonprofit growth. And then limited time was a very close second at 23%. Staff turnover, outdated technology, and board constraints have drastically increased barriers to growth. And I'm curious, just in the chat, does this data resonate with you? Like, I'd love to hear what you all are struggling with when it comes to your digital marketing efforts and overall nonprofit growth. Pretty accurate, absolutely. Only concern is security, limited budget, all of the above. Yeah, so definitely resonating. That's great. And I just want to acknowledge that it's really hard to be a one person or small but mighty marketing team. It's harder than ever to drive results. There's an extremely crowded market right now. People's attention is being pulled in a lot of different direction. There's more channels than ever to market on. There's economic challenges. Tools have become more complicated. And then, as we've seen or heard from you all in the chat, you're asked to do more with less. You have budget cuts, less team, and then potentially even leadership who may not understand marketing changes. It's not the same as it was 5 years ago or even 2 years ago to market online, specifically around digital. Things are changing very quickly, and it can be extremely challenging. And there's this compounding cycle, right? When it comes to drive results, you get further away from your goals and the gap grows. It's harder than ever to drive results and ask to do more with less. You get access to less resources because you missed your goals. And then as you miss your goals, you're asked to achieve even harder goals or loftier goals because you missed those previous ones. And it's this compounding cycle. And then the gap gets wider. The gap between where our expertise is and where it needs to be to get the results you need over time. And that sometimes it feels like a hole you can't get yourself out of. But I want to propose this idea that despite all of the challenges, technology, particularly AI, offers unprecedented opportunities. It's also never been a better time to be a one-person marketing team. AI is there to support you, to automate those repetitive tasks, to provide insights through data analysis, to enable personalized communication at scale. I like to call our small but mighty partner organizations we work with small team, big impact. And most of them have to leverage AI to get the work done. Most of the ones that we meet with on a weekly basis, we're talking about how we're using AI to support our marketing strategies and how they can also be using AI to support their marketing strategies. Again, technology in the nonprofit sector is not just about keeping up with the trends, it's about strategically using these tools to amplify impact, reach a wider audience, and stay relevant in a rapidly changing world. So, looking at the bigger picture, it's important for nonprofit organizations to recognize the changing roles that they play in society and how modern technology should help them. In another recent poll, we saw that 87% of surveyed nonprofits expect to spend more on digital engagement over the next years, or trying to. And the barriers to entry for cutting edge tech like AI it's fallen, meaning it's more accessible for more missions. And increased investment in digital advertising needs to involve new technology like AI so that it can help you and your organization raise more with less and efficiently grow your impact. So I'm going to take a second and just kind of read some of the chat and see how people are feeling. People are agreeing limited by budget, restricted brain guidelines, and getting results is so difficult. Lack of investment and lots of restrictions. I totally hear that and understand that. We're going to shift gears a little bit here. And I kind of want to share that my intention isn't necessarily to sell you on AI, and hopefully this isn't coming off too pushy. I don't, or Community Boost doesn't have skin in the game when it comes to like net new users of any of these tools, but I do truly believe in them. And if I can even spark one person's curiosity enough to try some of these tools and it ends up streamlining a task or saving them time at their organization, then in my opinion, this webinar will be considered a success. So I want to jump into some of the applications of these tools, which is I think why most of you are here, and then have a great discussion about how you could potentially use these at your org. So again, I want to reiterate the idea that you no longer need to be a one-person marketing team, and I'd like to introduce you to your new AI co-pilots. There are so many different ways that you could be using AI, but I kind of mapped out 4 main buckets here. The first is a knowledge base. You can use AI to automate and streamline your organization, the organization retrieval and updating of information. And I'll give you a few examples. So there are already some tools that you might be using, like Google Drive and the host of products available as part of the Google for Nonprofit suite, a lot of them have a host of AI components to help you organize and find documents across your organization. And you might be saying, Blake, like we use Google Drive, we know how that works. We use Google Docs or something similar. Like that's not like that of an advanced feature. But think about this. What about a level up? What would it look like if you created your own knowledge base using AI that could connect to something like Slack or Teams so that your team could ask questions directly to a chatbot? Like, would it change your organization if you could chat a bot in Slack to find you the most recent Giving Tuesday advertising strategy or to send you a document on the updated PTO policy? Like, would that be a game changer for you? Because at Community Boost, we're developing something similar where we have so many different blog posts, pieces of content, webinars, internal strategy documents that we've kind of compiled into a knowledge base. So instead of someone on our team needing to reach out to a manager about, how does the strategy work here, you can first tap that chatbot and get access to all the resources that right there at your fingertips. You also have the ability for content creation. AI tools can assist in generating creative and engaging content for marketing, fundraising, and outreach. This can be used to build all kinds of new pieces of content, ranging from email drips, ad copy. We love at Community Boost to take a top performing campaign or ads from a top performing campaign and have AI create new variations of those ads for A/B testing. That's a really easy, great way to get started on the content creation side. Also, you can use it to generate images, which I've used throughout this presentation and other places as well. You can use AI for data support, use it to enhance data analysis and management. We'll go over a very real example of this, but you can use it both in Google Sheets or Excel to execute complex formulas to get rid of redundant data, or you can even use it to analyze data from a recent advertising campaign and give you recommendations on next steps and optimizations. And then lastly, as an example, you can use it for stewardship. You can use AI to personalize donor engagement and communication, use it to get you 80% of the way to streamline donor stewardship and create very specific, unique outreaches to your supporters. I would also love for people to post other examples in the chat of how they've currently have been using AI. I know a lot of you are using it. I'm curious, like what those ways are. Targeting for ads. That's really interesting. Helping with the creation of Facebook captions, ideas and content creation. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge one. AI is great for ideation and just kicking things off, posting on social media, email subject lines. That's great. It looks like a lot of you are already using those content creation aspects. And there are a lot of common use cases. I mentioned a few of them, but really AI's versatility shines in various tasks. Like we talked about email copy, but you can use it for meeting recaps. You can use it to create slide decks. Workspace has a really great slides.ai IO feature, that you can use to just build entire slide decks. You can use it for research. You can use it for reporting, aiding in strategy ideation, and even breaking language barriers with translation. The beauty of AI lies in its accessibility and simplicity for those everyday tasks, making the starting point less daunting than often perceived. And I do recommend just starting small with AI. And that can just involve automating routine tasks like drafting emails, translating documents, which should free up valuable time for more strategic activities. Many of these AI tools are very user friendly and integrate seamlessly with existing software. So, like I had mentioned, you can use extensions into Google Docs or Google Sheets, or even access the API to be able to pull some data into tools like Slack. Um, by beginning with these basic applications, I really think that most nonprofits can gradually familiarize themselves with AI capabilities. Now, I wanted to mention a few other tools here too. I'm not going to get into every single one, like I had mentioned at the top of this presentation. Really, I think Bard and ChatGPT is going to be able to handle the majority of the things that you need. But I wanted to mention a few others that are available here. I do like AI prompts and responses manager. That's an extension you can add into your ChatGPT. It actually helps with prompting. I'm not going to get too much into prompting. It's kind of, I'm sure some of you are very familiar with it. It's the process of providing like a specific set of instructions to the chatbot so that it can give you a more concise answer or what you're looking for. It's a very important aspect of engaging with these chatbots. And AI prompts and responses manager is a great way to have things pre-prompted. So they have these great built-in prompts that you can use depending on how you're trying to use the tool. It can be for marketing specifically or advertising. It can be more on the admin side. I definitely recommend checking it out as it can help get you better, more accurate answers from the tool that you're using. And then you have tools like Jasper that are trained specifically for copywriting tasks. You have DALL-E and Midjourney. DALL-E is OpenAI's image creating AI, and you have Midjourney as well. That example I showed earlier of the young man from Pakistan was created from Midjourney. And I'll show you some examples of image creating AI later on that are pretty amazing. You can use Bard for Google Docs and Sheets. Grammarly is one that I saw many people in the chat saying that they're using. And then generative fill through Adobe Photoshop is also very incredible. And then because we're mainly going to be talking about ChatGPT and Bard in our examples, I did want to talk about some of the strengths of the two. And it's ever evolving. I mean, if you had asked me to lay out the strengths of these two tools even just a couple months ago or a month ago, it'd be very different. But these are the ways that I'm using them. And I'd love to hear from people in chat if they agree or disagree with some of the notes here, because everyone uses it differently. And I think some people have different results. But in my opinion, ChatGPT is really great for contextual understanding. I think that the GPT models understand context better. I think the conversation flow works better with ChatGPT. For example, if I'm asking it a bunch of questions about creating a marketing plan for a certain organization, I can reference back to that original maybe first message that I sent, prompted it with, and it'll remember that conversation and give me a great output. Versus Bard, sometimes it feels like the translation gets lost along the way the longer you're communicating with it. ChatGPT does have a strong vetted knowledge base. That's improved even over the course of the last couple of months. Just a while ago, the knowledge base was only updated to 2021 and now has access to much more information. I do feel like the versatility of ChatGPT is very strong. It's able to generate creative text, answer questions, translate languages, create images within ChatGPT, and even simulate personalities to some extent. And then I do think that the growth of ChatGPT, the improvement over time has been very incredible. From the GPT-2 model to 3 to now 4, it's shown very significant improvements in its ability to generate accurate and contextually relevant responses. I did want to kind of add a side note here that ChatGPT now has access to Bing, so you can search things online via Bing. I've personally found that some of the online searches I've done via Bard have been better than some of the resources that I've been trying to find via Bing, but that could just be me. I'd be curious to hear what other people say in chat. I feel like there's still a little bit of improvement that needs to happen there. And then for Bard, I would say the strengths are the storytelling capability. Bard is specifically designed to generate narrative content. I think it sounds more human than ChatGPT. I often have to, if I'm using ChatGPT, kind of prompt it again to change the language to be more approachable or less stiff. I think that Bard has nuanced responses. They tend to be less literal compared to some other models, which leads to that more natural sounding text. I think Bard is great at handling ambiguity. It's designed to handle ambiguous prompts and generate a variety of plausible completions. And then Bard does have that real-time knowledge. It offers real-time access to Google and can therefore find answers to questions such as what's trending on the internet right now. I want to take a second and see what people Yeah, I mean, there's some great points in here too, which I didn't cover. It's so important to fact check any info chatbots provide. And even when I get into some of the examples here of how you can use chatbots, it's definitely the caveat. Don't take these things at face value. They need to be, yeah, you have to do your due diligence when you're using them. Absolutely. Okay, now let's jump in. I think we're doing pretty good on time. We can jump into some of the top tips here, and then I definitely want to use some space for Q&A. So let's review some examples of ways you can use AI. An AI team to support you in your day to day. I added a QR code here for Bard if you wanted to kind of follow along and do some prompts as we go through. Like, feel free to, or you can kind of just see the prompts that I'm going to speak about and how they could be used. So, one of the first ways that I recommend using uh, these these tools is for translations. Bard can be a huge key to unlocking communication across languages, whether you need quick translations or need help crafting multilingual marketing materials. Bard can support. It understands over 40 different languages, and to someone's point earlier, I do want to say that this has been an important piece of how we can support our organizations that are trying to reach different segments or different audiences in their marketing and outreach. But definitely make sure that you're not just taking these things at face value and you're doing some research on your end. So we have a lot of people on our team that fluently speak Spanish, but when we do try to translate language, ads from English to Spanish, it usually gets us like 80% of the way there. But we do have someone going in, editing, checking the grammar, and making sure that it's accurate as possible. So here was an example prompt that I used. I have an email that is written in English that I would like translated into Spanish. This is for a different audience segment that we would like to run an email campaign for. Can you help me with that? And then it translated the email that I had crafted up into Spanish. And I kind of mentioned this around the ad copy deliverables, but that's a very important way to reach different audiences as well. We know that a lot of our nonprofit partners are trying to reach people in parts of the US, outside of the US, and often just targeting them based off of the language they speak, but not having the ads converted to that native language. It's going to make them ineffective. So by using this tool, you can actually reach a much larger audience across Meta, Google, any of your email, any of your marketing channels that you're using. And I'm curious, are there a lot of people in the chat that are using AI for translations? And how's that been going for you? I think I saw a couple of people saying that they were using Bard for language translation, which is great. The second piece here is ad copy creation. I think that Bard is great for creating ad copy, especially because it's a Google tool. I like to use it for the Google Ad Grant, paid search, any of kind of the Google Marketing Suite tools. It's great for ideation. It can, be used to develop any kind of ad that you're looking for. And it's great at refining content as well to resonate with your target audience effectively. So here was an example prompt that I used. It was, can you help me write a Google responsive search ad for an organization called blank? The ad group name is Gorilla Sign Language. And here are some keywords that we're targeting. And it mapped out both headlines, descriptions, and then the page paths that we should use for those ads, which is great. I do want to call out that sometimes both Bard and ChatGPT can get a little bit confused when building ads. There are very specific character limits that you can use in the headlines, for example, 30 characters, and the descriptions, 90 characters. And sometimes the limits they'll be way over those limits. So you have to kind of pre-prompt it or afterwards, like have it send another prompt and let them know, hey, Bard, this is actually too long. Can you refine this and make sure that it's within that 90 or 30 character limit? It's something I wanted to call out. Another way that we like to use these tools, and I think it's even more effective, is to take an ad that's already performing well across a channel and have it create a new variation for A/B testing. So a use case could look like this. Imagine you're the communication manager for a nonprofit organization focused on environmental conservation. Your organization is gearing up for a virtual fundraising event, and you've been tasked with creating ad copy for Meta to boost event attendance. Event details can be found on this event page, and then you can insert the link. Your task is to create 10 variations of meta ads. Use a best in class ad copy template and give it kind of that template of the top performing ad and create 10 new ad variations for Meta. Outline the ad strategy. Describe the target audience for each ad. Outline the specific goal or call to action and a brief summary of the ad copy content, etc. So this is where I would really urge you all to test these tools and to use them very effectively. Is for that A/B test, the variations that can be created with these tools, very very effective, especially if you give it a template ad or an ad best in class example, excuse me, of an ad to work off of. Let me see. Is anyone people are saying that they do that? That's awesome. The third example here is strategy. This is one of my favorite use cases for ChatGPT. We're kind of shifting to ChatGPT here now, but you can use Bard or ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a vital tool for enhancing advertising strategies. I love to use it to adeptly analyze campaign data. You can use it to provide insights on optimizing your budget allocation, bid strategies, keyword effectiveness. Um, Basically, like with this assistance, you can identify poor ad copy, improve targeting, and even develop compelling content to boost campaign performance. So this was kind of an example prompt that I used. I said, here's 30 days worth of data from our Google Ad Grant campaigns. I just downloaded the report as a Google Sheet, downloaded it as a CSV, and then uploaded it. Can you please review the attached report and make recommendations on how we should optimize our campaigns for next month? Our goal is to drive more scheduled appointments for blood donations here in San Diego. And it started to review the data that I had given it. It first checked the campaign statuses to see if what was enabled, what wasn't, checked budget and spend levels, conversion rates against benchmarks, how many conversions we were driving, what the conversion value was. And then it gave me recommendations on some campaigns that were paused that maybe should be re-enabled, some devices that needed to have bid adjustments made to them, recommendations on increased spend allocation on certain campaigns, which is massive. Again, caveat, don't just take these recommendations at face value. Like you need to be a marketer and understand whether the recommendations are the right move for your organization. But it can be a great way to start ideating about the next steps, what you should be doing next month in your account, whether that's Meta or Google Ads or any kind of platform. Perfect. The next piece is donor segmentation. I think that ChatGPT is a vital tool for enhancing your. I think the copy was a little bit off here. No, it's okay. We're good. Um, it can, yeah, absolutely analyze campaign data, give you recommendations, and you can also use it to kind of pre-prompt and understand what the segmentation should be for a campaign strategy. So the prompt that I had used here was, imagine you're the development manager at a nonprofit organization, focus on youth education, and please map out a donor segmentation strategy here. And so ChatGPT started to create a segmentation strategy across loyal supporters, community advocates, geographically concentrated donors. And it found all this information from the URL that I provided in that initial prompt and started to map out both why we should target these different segments and how the messaging should change across these different segments, which is truly incredible. Again, it can get you 80% of the way there for a new kind of donor segmentation campaign or campaign. And that's the power of these tools, is just starting the process of having you think creatively about how you could do something like better donor segmentation across email or other channels. And then lastly, I wanted to talk through image creation. This is a really cool one. I love using some of the different image tools like Dolly or Imagen. They're truly revolutionizing nonprofit marketing by enabling custom image creation with really unprecedented photorealism. So these are some examples of some images that were created by Imagen. The prompt on the left was create a photo of a corgi dog riding a bike in Times Square. It's wearing sunglasses and a beach hat. And then on the right, the prompt was create for me a giant cobra snake on a farm, and I want the snake to be entirely made out of corn. So the days of hunting down the right image for your marketing campaign are over. I remember the days of being on Unsplash or Pexels to try to find a licensed photo that I could use for an email campaign or for a meta advertising campaign. Really using these tools, Midjourney, Imagen, or DALL-E, can make your life so much easier to create fun and creative uh, advertising for your different your organization's goals. I'm curious how some people feel. Game changer. How do we attribute the photos? Yeah, definitely very, very cool tools to use. We're getting close on time here, so I'm kind of wrap up. We're almost done with the presentation, but I did want to touch on one thing. A lot of people always ask, how do I start? Where do we go from here? I understand some AI capabilities, but I'm not fully sure on how I could be using it. Google did recently release an introduction course to generative AI. I highly recommend that you all go through it. Google does a great job of creating different courses across all different marketing components. This is definitely a place that you could start and check out. I also just recommend that you start to test things and you try it out. That's really where you're going to get the most impact. Try tools like ChatGPT. Try tools like Bard. Start small and build up from there. And really, once you get comfortable in using these tools, you can understand how to maybe roll them out to the rest of your organization or employees at your organization. Perfect. And I think that from here, Candace is going to post a QR code in the chat. But basically, urge you to reach out. Like right now, we are offering a free one-on-one talk with some of our digital marketing experts, both on AI, if you want to learn how to use this at your organization more effectively, or also just to talk about marketing in general. We're in the thick of year end. I'm sure some of you could potentially use some insights or quick audit on your campaigns that you're running. We're happy to provide that and talk through some of those solutions that we could provide. So go ahead and book that time now if you'd like. It could be for year end, it could be for next year, whatever works for you. But we have a ton of digital marketing experts available to kind of chat about all things marketing for nonprofits. And then really quickly before we get into Q&A, I kind of just want to say, first, I just want to thank you all for being here. I want to express my gratitude for being here. I know we're in the thick of year end. It's hard to find time to hop on a webinar to talk about something like generative AI, but I do hope that this conversation has been enlightening and encouraging. And even if you're still deciding on whether or not you want to integrate these tools into your workflow, I hope it's created some curiosity around them. And again, the key takeaway isn't just about adopting these new technologies, it's about staying informed and open to the possibilities of these. And so, if some of you are intrigued by the potential of these tools, I encourage you to dive in and experiment with them, test them out in your day to day. Ask yourself, are these tools saving me time? Do they align with the goals of our organization and what we're trying to achieve? And if they are, if it can enhance your work and make your efforts more impactful, then great. Really, the goal is just to see if these tools can give you back even just an hour or two each week. Like that time can be redirected towards more creative endeavors, strategic planning, or just give you the ability to catch your breath for a second in this busy year end giving season. So the potential for these tools to free up valuable time is immense. And that time can be a precious resource for furthering your organization's mission and goals. And whether you decide to embrace these tools or not, I urge you to stay curious and informed about this area, and hope that you can use them to continue to drive your organization's success and impact. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'll pass it over to Candace.
Thank you so much, Blake. This conversation has been so enlightening. There's been so much love in the chat, lots of really practical takeaways. Before we go any further, because I do want to get to a couple questions in the Q&A, I want to ask you all what you thought of the webinar. Everyone that fills out this survey that's pasted right here, you can scan the QR code or you can click on the button, is going to get a free VIP pass to the past Nonprofit Marketing Summit. So you can actually dive in. There's several sessions on AI as well that you can go and learn more from those, or just enjoy all that the past summit had to offer. So go ahead, scan that QR code. Let us know your thoughts from and takeaways from this amazing webinar. So thank you again, Blake. And yeah, I'll leave that up. And I really want to get to at least like 2 to 3 questions here. And the most upvoted one with 8 votes was from Lindsay Summers. So Lindsay asked, at what point is using text generated from AI like ChatGPT for something like social media posts, letters, etc., considered plagiarism? Is it ethical if all you're doing is making a few basic tweaks?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I have seen a couple people ask in the chat or talk about not really having ample time to discuss the ethics of AI. And I actually originally had some slides in here around those considerations. I think what I'll do is keep those in the slide deck that we send out so you can kind of see some of my notes. But I wanted to make sure we had the majority of the time to just talk about the use cases and be able to answer some questions. I do think that it depends on your organization, and how you decide to set the ethics on using AI for your organization. I do agree, like just using AI to create copy and then just use that without really thinking through whether it aligns with your mission, if it's authentic to your organization, doesn't really make sense. I tend to like to use AI to get you 80% of the way there. It builds the foundation, and then from there, it's really up to your organization to repurpose that content to be authentic and, yeah, to represent your org. So it's a fine line, but I don't agree with necessarily just taking everything that's created by a chatbot and using that in all parts of your marketing.
Yeah, I definitely think, like you said, using that as a baseline and you can build on it from there and really customize it and make it your own is a great way to start. And I think like there's so many great questions about the ethical considerations of AI, both in the chat and the Q&A pane, that I think we got to do a part 2 of this series. And we'll get another one scheduled to really dive a little bit deeper. And I think we have time for maybe one more question. We have Norma asked, what is the impact? What will be the impact on SEO? So should we allow our WordPress site to be crawled or limit crawling if we don't want our content to end up attributed to Google? So I think, maybe talking about what the capabilities and the impact on SEO could look like with AI.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot there. A lot of the algorithms for Google's SEO are evolving very quickly to try to take into account for AI. I think one of the big considerations is especially citations and how that's going to work, especially if content is being, shared in platform, like in Bard or in ChatGPT, how that works. I think the strategy as far as SEO right now is business as usual, but will evolve soon. And I think more of these advanced questions will definitely be answered in a part 2. I think I love where everyone's head is at, and I think we should get into like the thick of some of these more advanced thoughts and strategies around generative AI.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's perfect for a part two. So thank you all for your great questions. And thank you, Blake, for just everything that you went over today, such in such depth, and really looking at the practical applications for nonprofit professionals. So, yeah, hopefully you all got a lot of great takeaways. I'm gonna put that let us know what you think QR code up one more time so you can let us know your thoughts on the webinar. And we would love to see you at part two, which I'll send you a follow up email about in the next few weeks.
Thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. You will get the slides and the recording in your inbox tomorrow.